Hi there. So this is part three of our Safarnama web authoring tool tutorial for creating experiences for the Port Places app. To remind you, we're using Cork as our example because that's where I am now, and I've made a location based on a location in the Cork memory map project. I should point out as well that I've just done this because it was the most relevant type of media experience for the location I was looking at. You'd obviously still need to make sure you had your permissions for any media you're using, whether it be Creative Commons licenses, copyright, like acknowledgements, whatever. We always, in the past and present project, make sure we ensure people's consent and before we use any of their material. But basically, this is just a mock-up to show you what it looks like. So I've made a location in the last video called Buying Milk for the First Time, which is based on this location here called Having to Buy Milk for the First Time, where they've captured a bit of an oral history recording and a bit of information about it, along with lots of other really interesting stories about Cork's folklore and oral history. But what we need now is some media. So basically, each location is just all it is without the media is a name, a type, so it's a story and a place. That's not enough. Obviously, we need media to make it interesting. So you have a library of media. Here's two I prepared earlier, like an audio file of the record. These two things, the image and the recording. I've put these in already. You can upload text, images, audio, MP3 format audio, videos, even PDFs, so you can put in and attach to locations. And basically, then what we need to do is firstly attach them to this story, this location, and we need to give them some metadata, as it's called, some contextual information, so that the reader will know what they are. So we go done. Those ticks mean I've clicked those. I can unclick them or re-click them. You'll see on the left it's changing, and it's basically attaching them, snapping them onto this location when I do that. Whenever you go back in, it's quite useful. If you go select media, it will always show you with a tick which ones you have associated with the story. So that's very useful. What we need now is we need some information about, let's say, about this audio file. So what we would do here is all media items have the same fields: name, which comes up in big text on the app; description, which is sort of a prominent text that is easy to read; and acknowledgements, which comes up below the media item and is much smaller and is more of a contextual thing. You can also add an external link, and if you do that, you simply put in the name of the link and add in the URL. If you have any problems with the links, have a look at, like, has it got a bunch of weird stuff at the end, like you've made a search query and there's a bunch of quotation marks and question marks and stuff at the end, which means you've like searched for something inside a website, because it doesn't always like those. Pick a nice simple URL that ends with the /. Also, make sure, if you have any trouble, that it's HTTPS, secure HTTP at the start rather than just HTTP. Ignore those things. If it works fine, that's all good. So what we will do here is let's just paste in this, so we would say, well, actually, let's say interview dates. We would say, Cork Folklore Project, and we might add the date in there, interview date, in acknowledgements, and then this is our description, and then you could just put buying milk for the first time again, but then it would be a bit redundant because you'd have it at the top. But you could use it for subcategories, like if buying milk for the first time was your overall theme, and then you had a few bits of audio about different subcategories of that, you might do that. Then what we're going to do is press edit. That's because that URL is empty. So edit. And then we now have some information on there. We would then do the same with the image, and we would press save. And those would now be part of it. And if we were to go back into them, they will still be there.